Holy cow, everyone. This is it. The last of the SPX videos. We have a ton of stuff to go through today. Take a look. You will enjoy looking at all of these. Hello everyone, it's Tom, it's FANzine Live. We are doing new releases today, and this is the final SPX 2024 video. We have had so many good ones, and honestly, it's been a great show, and the haul that I got from it was epic. I'm thrilled to be able to share it all with you, and we are going to close it out with looks like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 short videos. So we'll start with this one. How about Viewotron? Comics and Stories by Sam Sharp and Peach Goodrich. Nice looking little book. This was published by Ad House Books, which is out of where did I see? I thought Ad House was out of Virginia. Yes, Richmond, Virginia, same place as Bubbles. As you can see, and I'm not going to go into super detail, very professionally put together. It's a saddle stitch book, nice color matte cover. The Viewotron it's an anthology, and as you can see, it's got a little kind of fun sci-fi type element. This was probably my favorite story in the entire thing. This is not a slice of life, but it's kind of it could be a slice of life, but it's a really funny piece. That first summer after college, we all stayed in the city and founded religions. So this one, I believe, was done by Sam Sharp. You can kind of tell the difference. This is Sam Sharp's art style. This is Peach Goodrich's. They're both fun and cartoony, each in their own way. A fun book. Color cover, cardstock, color on the inside too, which is a nice touch. So they get a couple color bits here, but largely black and white. I like it. Viewotron's a lot of fun. We're next going to look at the Center for Cartoon Studies, which is out of White River Junction, Vermont. And they had a table at SPX, and they have some information on, and this is kind of their recruiting brochure. You can see it's got space for a stamp and mailing address and the like. And they send this out, I'm guessing, to prospective students. And they did it in the form of a zine, which is really creative. So they have your home assessment, and you talk about the different things about whether or not you would be a good candidate for the CCS. Then they talk about things about the comic and how to apply. And you can see they're messing with the form of the zine to tell what they want to do. Kind of a fun little comic strip. So that's cool. I really like that. So they also had another piece in here. Location, location, location. So it's neat, a first-person story of how he came to the Center for Cartoon Studies and how it's made him, I guess you would say, a better cartoonist. So really nifty. Center for Cartoon Studies is something that I mean, I'm not a cartoonist myself. I mean, I pretend to do a little, but this is another educational option for folks. But the thing I really like about it is it's still an entertaining zine. And and it's a perfect encapsulation of the work they do, the format that they often use, and they and it's recruiting material. More interesting than a lot of the college catalogs I'm looking at. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, next is two zines, books really, by Derek Ballard. Both the same size and shape. They look to be, if I had to guess, that looks like 11 by 17 and just cut differently. That looks like about an 11 by 17. Yeah, okay. These are professionally printed, saddle stitched. The first one is The Shape of Comics to Come. The next one is called Day Labor. And this is part of the fun of going to shows. I was looking at Day Labor, and Derek suggested to me that if I picked up both of them, he would give me a discount. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that. So The Shape of Comics to Come was the first. Day Labor is the second. He probably has other work that he's done, but these are the two that I've got. He is a cartoonist coming out of the Sequential Artists Workshop. We just talked about the Center for Cartoon Studies in Vermont. The Sequential Artists Workshop is an operation out of Florida, and they are not quite in the collegiate Kubert School Fine Arts Academy model of education, but instead what they do is they do a lot of seminars, shorter term workshops, like maybe week-long workshops. They do a lot of stuff online, and they basically do their best to try to help cartoonists get to the next level, whatever that might be. So he has a very definite cartoon style, and that's really nice to see. His style itself is very loose, not always, what would you say, anatomically on point. I mean, the smaller head, the longer exaggerated arms and legs, you can see that that's kind of his thing. He does, some scribble lines to go fast. He also uses this lettering a lot, and for some reason it just reminds me of the old Schoolhouse Rock on the cartoons on Saturday mornings when I was a youngster. But anyway, going through this, he has 3 panels per page, sometimes different sizes, but he does 3 panels a page. And I really think, and again, I don't know the details on how he gets it done. Either he's using a specific size. I mean, maybe he's got a type of paper that he uses and he just does one at a time. Or, and this is my guess, he's perhaps doing digital, and then this is a paper version of his digital work. But anyway, you can see his style. It's fun, it's exaggerated. But the thing I do like about it is, as busy as some of the panels can get, and how they overlap sometimes as they do, his characters and his cartooning is consistent. And I think that's really important, and that's a lesson that I'm going to take out of this, which is it doesn't matter how perfect looking your cartooning is, and this is perfectly fine for the purpose, but it doesn't matter if it's superheroes, it doesn't matter if it's Bloom County, it doesn't matter if it's Matt Feazel's Cynical Man. As long as your characters are consistent in their appearance from panel to panel, it makes it easier for the reader to follow along. There's a certain common man type feel to it, and it's very much the story of a guy trying to navigate modern life in modern life, as we all know, is really insane. So he does a good job doing that. Then we go to day labor and at the same time. Okay. So anyway, day labor is really more about his experience in the work world. And honestly, I think this one holds up better than the other. The other thing I did want to point out is, and I'm not sure how easy it is to see, but because he has such a thin line, The Shape of Things to Come, my real big complaint about it was it looks like it was drawn in pencil. And the lines are not a solid black, but they're really more of a lighter gray. And so that made it a little more difficult to keep following along because things just started looking a touch muddier. Whereas here in this new book, his blacks are not entirely there, but gosh, it's a lot more profound and a lot straighter up. So he does some neat societal discussion at the same time. And it's really neat. I enjoyed this a great deal. So Derek Ballard, coming out of the Sequential Artist Workshop. Nice stuff with The Shape of Comics to Come and Day Labor. All right, our last book of SPX is one that I had heard of, the Rust Belt Review, and actually I saw it also at CXC. So I thought it would be fun to pick this up and see what it was all about. I live in Columbus, Ohio, the part of what they might call the Rust Belt, the old manufacturing belt, from like running from Pennsylvania over to like Wisconsin, a little bit into Minnesota maybe, but Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, they call us the Rust Belt. And so I thought this would be really interesting to take a look at. I was kind of hoping it would be in the mode of a, how would I say it best? Geographically topical type storytelling. And it's not exactly that. In fact, the guy who I'll pull this stuff out. The guy who I bought this from, a guy named Matt McFarland, he actually is out of LA, and he was a contributor to this. So Rust Belt Review isn't necessarily Rust Belt, but it's a great name. It's a comics anthology. There are apparently 6 volumes of this. And it's a hell of a book from a size point of view. I'll pull out my old copy of Patriot, which is a full-size comic. You can see this thing. Geez, it's so big I got to go sideways with it. This thing is massive. It's probably to the tune of about a 9x12 type of book. And then it's got cardstock matte covers. It is a paperback, and it's got like a recycled paper newsprint type interior. I love the big pages. It has a wonderful feel to it. And in fact, I even looked into, they mentioned that it was printed by a company called Bookmobile, and I actually have gone to their website just to see how they do it and what they've got. So may end up using them someday. But as you can see, we've got plenty of contributors, including a gentleman from the Rust Belt, Brian Canini, who's here in Columbus, and he is one of the publishers of the Columbus Scribbler. So going through, the stories are largely, or the contributions are largely sequential art. Not necessarily always humor, but there's usually an undercurrent of humor in what's going on. I do think the work is gorgeous. It's probably some of the best stuff in the book. Very well done. I mean, you can't do landscapes like this on small pages and have it work. You can't do these massive perspective shots and make it work on smaller pages. I mean, big paper lets you do big things. I wouldn't know. And then they went to color for this last bit. So yeah, so our Rust Belt review, we've got people from Connecticut who currently lives in LA. You've got a guy who lives in Tennessee, Brian from Columbus, living in Hollywood, lives in Minneapolis, Hudson Valley in New York, Matt McFarland in LA, or Alhambra, he says, Chicago, living in Madrid, southeastern Wisconsin. So, is it true Rust Belt? No. Is it a really good anthology done on a wonderful format? Oh, heck yeah. So I strongly recommend this one. I like this a great deal. It's a really good example of what I'm learning is kind of the American narrative style, where we have many of the styles of American hero and romance and police and all the other comics over the years applied really to his slice of life situation, fiction drawn from life, a lot of that type of stuff. And so it works out really well. I like it a lot. It's a good book. So I'm glad I saved this one for last. So that's it. We've got one more little thing, and then we will move on to other new releases. But let's take a look at one last little bit. Let's wrap up our SPX look with some pieces of, I guess you would call them ephemera, stuff that I picked up at the show, not necessarily zines, but when you go, everybody's got promotional things and small items and the like. So SPX was a really good time. I'm so glad I went, and I look forward to going to other big shows like this over the years ahead. So that is it for SPX 2024. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed all of these videos, and I will catch you